This guy is very mad at us. Adam, what's the problem, Adam?
What's the matter, Adam?
Hey, I listen to you guys every day, and most of the time I don't agree with you politically, but I just wish you were a little bit more independent-minded and fair, because I know you're independent-minded guys, but lately you've just been tools of the Drudge Report and Fox News.
Oh.
And I don't know if Anthony, you're just trying to get more appearances on Hannity, but
Yeah.
it's like every day you just read only the Drudge Report, watch only Fox News, and come on and talk about their political stories.
Yeah.
But it's just
Yeah.
it's unlike you guys, and it's more and more
Yeah.
every day. Every
Yeah.
day.
I do only read two websites. It's Drudge and Fox News. And I just get my opinions from those sites. I don't read anything about Obama's platform, about health care reform, about how this multilateral plan has come up and how a lot of people still aren't supporting it, about the public option, whether it should be involved in the health care reform or not. I don't read anything about any of that and then make my own judgments and opinions based on how it's going to affect me directly and then discuss it on the air. And because you don't like it, I'm just a tool of Fox News. You're right. I just read two sites, and then I'm done. Right.
If you really go back and listen to yourself and look at all sides,
I do it
of the
every
story,
day.
you guys
It's wonderful.
you guys give
My
half
voice is
the
amazing.
story. You give half the story, and it's that
Half the story would sound like, I think Obama, and then it would stop.
Repeating what Hannity says every fucking day. It's the same stuff.
Maybe we agree on some stuff. Just like you agree with some of the liberal agenda, I'm sure. I'm not saying it makes you a liberal tool, which I think you are, but I'm not saying it. Dude, don't you understand I have a position based on my own personal experiences, my own personal
But don't you
wants
see what their agenda is? Don't you got? I mean, you have the mind to be able to look through their bullshit.
Their bullshit. Who's there? What about CBS, NBC, MSNBC, ABC? Hold on. What about all the other networks besides Fox? You don't think that's a liberal agenda? You don't think them giving
I do.
You don't think them giving Obama a special to talk about his health care reform didn't have anything to do with Obama inviting only ABC into the White House
No, I
to
think
cover a
that's
story?
ridiculous. I think that's a total conspiracy.
Well,
Who gives a shit about whether or not only one network is giving him a health care hour? Did that seal the deal for him? Because
No, because people don't want
ABC?
No,
The fact
because
that they
people don't
wanted
want it. That's what's
viewers.
not sealing it for him. The reason is because people don't want it. That's why it's not sealing the deal for him. And he doesn't accept the fact, and like you, everyone that doesn't agree with his policy, especially on health care, is either a racist or a tool for Fox News or an ultra-right-wing conservative like Hannity or Limbaugh or anybody else. It's not
Anthony,
true.
you're
The
missing
truth
the
is,
point.
I don't like his fucking platform, especially on health care and on things that tax the cunt out of me.
But don't you see this bullshit about Van Jones and about Acorn? What some stupid
Holy
Acorn chapter
shit.
in California did?
Dude,
who
dude.
gives a
Acorn-
shit? How could those possibly
Who gives
be
a shit?
related to
You-
health care reform, which is talking about addressing the health care industry?
You know
of the
how it's
country,
related?
An issue that's been debated for 40 fucking years.
You know how it's
Who gives a
debated?
shit that 3 people in California from Acorn. do
3
something
people.
wrong? Who
First of
gives a
all,
shit?
it's 3 people in California, and then it's a few people in Jersey. It seems to be every one of these Acorn offices have fucking shysters in there that are fleecing the taxpayers for their special interest group that doesn't do anything helpful for this country and gets a shitload of our tax dollars. That's why. And as far as Van Jones, hold on, I let you talk. And as far as Van Jones goes, it shows that Obama might have questionable abilities in appointing people without knowing where their past lies, where their agenda lies. He made him the Greens czar, and he turned out to be a fucking atrocity, a self-proclaimed communist. You want that? You want that in to have the president's ear? You want that guy advising the president?
To be honest with you, if he's the best person at creating green
He's not.
jobs and
He's
he
not.
was picked,
Oh,
okay, he's
really?
not. You
Really?
know better.
Okay, no, I'll let you continue on that tack. I'm sorry. If he's the best guy for the job, okay, then it's okay that he's a self-proclaimed communist. He was a revolutionary activist, radical in his youth, and that's okay. So what about David Duke? What if fucking David Duke, the former Grand Dragon of the KKK, who then ran for legitimate office and was just creamed by liberals and African Americans and the Jews about his past. Hold on. And he had some very good ideas about how he would run things if he won his election bid back in the, I believe, 90s. You think that's okay if he was the best guy for the job? Put in a former Klan leader?
Comparing someone...
Hey, no! Answer the fucking question. Yes or no? If he's the best guy for the job, do you put in a former Klan leader?
No.
Why?
Because he wouldn't be able to do the job fairly if he hates 30%
Van
of the country.
Van Jones can't because he hates fucking 80% of the country. He's
I
a
don't agree with
racist.
that,
He's a
what
racist
evidence is that?
fucking
What's that
black
based on?
radical. That's where he came from. It's fucking
You
documented.
don't even know the guy, though.
Yes,
You
I
just
do.
listen to what, you
Oh,
know Van
right.
Jones?
I did no fucking research on him. I don't know him personally. I never had him over my fucking house. But I know.
But don't you recognize that there are deeper levels to people, not just what you hear on one news network or
one news network. I'm so fucking uneducated on Obama and Van Jones and Acorn because I don't agree with them. So which means I'm uneducated on them. Instead of basing my opinion. No, you are. You're saying I read 2 fucking websites and I'm a tool of Fox News.
And by the way, the only reason you only hear it on one network, dude, and you got to acknowledge this, the mainstream media is not covering it. They didn't cover Van Jones, a guy in a policy-making position, the way they covered Don Imus.
Right. Thank you.
He's not. He's in a position to help create
No,
green jobs.
Bro, just explain that.
The issue
No, dude, just hold on. He's in a position of power.
A presidential appointee.
And he was not scrutinized by the media for racial comments the way Don Imus was for an inappropriate joke. You can't deny that. The mainstream media did not cover that. You cannot deny that.
Yep.
I agree with you.
Well, then don't sit here and ask Anthony, who just ran circles around you. Honestly, not
Thank you, sir.
Because you're saying that he gets all his opinions from Fox and blah, blah, blah. But you, for some reason, are completely in denial at the complete bias. And we could say to you, why the hell do you watch those networks when they're spoon-feeding you an opinion? Come on, man.
I watch Fox News every day. I watch O'Reilly. I watch stuff on Hannity and stuff on Glenn Beck. I watch all of the networks when I get a chance.
So then why
I don't
can't
sit
Anthony
there
do
and
that
watch
and
it
just be
every day.
forming that
I'm sure
opinion?
that you guys don't watch it every day.
I don't watch any of them. I don't watch O'Reilly. I don't watch Hannity. I don't watch Glenn Beck. I watch nobody.
Listen, the point is that Imus was unfairly criticized. I listen to Imus every morning when he was on. I love Imus.
Dude, I said media coverage. Media
Yeah,
coverage.
media
I said
coverage.
media coverage.
Media
Media
coverage.
coverage does not have a liberal bias or a conservative
Oh,
bias.
yes, it really.
Holy shit.
Let me just finish. It doesn't have that bias because they decide, because most of us are conservative or most of us are liberal, we're going to do this. They do this to try to attract viewers. That's why Fox News is conservative.
But let me explain something to you.
They found a big audience that can't find that elsewhere.
Well, there's a reason, because the rest of the networks are biased. Here's a little statistic that came up, and I'm not sure the exact numbers, but I'll round them off. Fox News covered the Green Czar story, I think about 110 times, and it was brought up on CBS News twice. Now, this is a story. Hold on.
About Van Jones?
Hold on.
Did you read any positive articles about Van Jones or any of his personal writings, or did you base it entirely on articles that were critical of him? Because I've read articles that were supportive of him. Now, I don't think that he should be in the position that he was.
Oh, okay. So that's all I'm saying. And why don't you think?
My point is that it's not that big of a deal, though.
Why don't you think he should have been in that position then? What's your opinion on why he shouldn't have had that job?
Because he didn't know when to keep his mouth shut. He couldn't.
And that's it. Not what he was saying or thinking, but the fact that he said it. Is that what you're saying? So if he still thought these things but didn't say them, then that would have been cool.
It probably would have kept his job.
Well, obviously he would have kept his job, but then he still would have been a former black radical, a self-proclaimed communist, and had the ear of the President of the United States, who appointed this man.
He was not a self-proclaimed communist.
He absolutely was.
No, he was not.
Then you didn't read his earlier writings, did you? You didn't read his earlier fucking writings, did you?
Do you know no one that's changed politically? Are we not allowed to change politically?
Okay, so he changed.
Robert Byrd at one point was a segregationist, and now he's a Democrat in the Senate. Like, people change.
By the way, David Duke changed. And he was a former member, a leader of the KKK. But again, you wouldn't have him in a position of power because he couldn't change?
I think that that's a little bit of an extreme difference.
Oh, is it? Is it? I think Van Jones is a little bit of an extreme to have as a man that has the ear of the president that was appointed, by the way, appointed by the president, who then distanced himself knowing that he can't get involved with that because it's a hot topic.
I think my point, Anthony, is not that I disagree with you about the Van Jones issue, because I don't think that we disagree much. The point is that every day your political issues are based on the top headlines of Drudge and Fox News, and they prioritize their issues based on their very right-wing agenda to attract that right-wing audience, just like MSNBC does or with their liberal audience. They prioritize their issues, and you guys are just bringing the same agenda that they have to a different audience.
But here's what you're doing. Here's what you're doing. You say you watch Fox News, but you also watch MSNBC. I do the same thing. I watch Fox News and I watch MSNBC. I'm formulating my opinions based on my own personal experiences. You are doing the same. We don't agree. You are more liberal. I am more conservative. That doesn't make me wrong or a puppet or a tool or a racist. It means we don't agree. Even though we're getting the same information, I'm formulating it differently because of who I am and my lifestyle, my upbringing. Everything comes into play. You've done the same thing. We don't agree on our points, but that doesn't make me wrong or a tool or a racist.
I think it makes you a tool because I turn on your show.
Well, you're a tool of the left. You're a tool of the fucking left, then. I'll just be like you. I'm not even going to try to be logical anymore like I just was trying to be. You're a tool for the left. You're a fucking bedwetting liberal motherfucker that loves tax and spend Democrats. There. Because you only watch MSNBC and the New York Times. There. I just matched you.
Look, when Dr. Aaron Carroll was on your show, you brought nothing to the table. You only
That's Iraq.
You brought nothing to the table.
Needed
he
a
totally
joke.
dominated you in that debate.
No, I don't think you did.
But you didn't have enough knowledge. And
at that time,
all you did was bring in statistics that you've heard from the right-wing extreme agenda against the health care reform.
Let me tell you.
You totally lost the debate.
If at the time...
If you truly believe that you're bringing in all different types of news sources, that you're really addressing the topics that are addressed by liberal news sources just as much as you are right-leaning news sources, your whole show. Why do you think Hannity is such a fan of yours? Because you go and spew the next morning exactly what he did the night before.
Because there are certain things we agree on.
You're just adding to his audience. It's just an entire right-wing campaign that you guys are just now a part of.
Anthony has just ruined you in this argument, dude, and you're still saying the same thing. He was logical with you. He explained how he forms his opinion. He said something about Van Jones being a communist that you obviously didn't know. And it's like you're still insisting on the same. This is, to me, the arrogance of the left.
Yes.
Is you guys can't believe that your opinions or ideologies are being challenged on their merits. You always have to find another reason. Like, this is why they're saying, like, dumb Jimmy Carter saying Obama's being challenged because of race. Like, he can't comprehend.
Why is that
hold on. I'll tell you why. Because the arguments I've heard people make are not about how Obama's treating blacks or being too black. It's about health care and taxes. The same things they would attack Hillary.
That's not what Jimmy Carter brought up.
Jimmy Carter is talking.
Anything about it?
Jimmy Carter. No. Jimmy, no, you're not going to interrupt me, fuck. You got to talk. You're not just going to interrupt me. I heard what Jimmy Carter said. He said that he believed the attacks are because it's a black man in the White House. And I'm saying the main things people attack Obama on are health care and taxes. And
That's
they
not
are.
What he said, actually.
And he did say that.
He said the way that he was being attacked was racist. The fact that people were being so disrespectful. And in the first 3 months, comparing the guy to voodoo kings and Hitler and the most extreme...
They compared Bush to Hitler. Look, the bottom line is this.
After he went to 2 wars.
Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter.
Totally wrong.
No, I'm not totally wrong. And that's why the fuck you think Obama backed away from it, you jackass? The White House walked away from it. The White House walked away from fucking David Patterson's nonsensical things.
The whole transcript, Robert Gibbs said that he believes that only the majority of the criticism coming toward Obama is not based on race. So he did recognize that some of it is racist in nature.
Obama did not think. Obama does.
headline.
Obama does not. I heard Jimmy Carter say it. I watched his mouth move, and I formed an opinion. And Jimmy Carter has always said shit about sitting presidents. He annoys people when he talks. It's what he does. That's what he does. But Hillary Clinton would be getting killed on the same things. And the media, doesn't this strike you as odd? The mainstream media paints these guys, the protesters, the what do they call the Tea Parties?
Yeah.
Oh, the tea baggers. Why aren't they so fucking glib about like the Million Man March or about Code Pink or about any fucking left-leaning organization that protests? Why is it only a bunch of white people?
The leader of the Tea Party movement was on CNN the other day.
There is no leader of the Tea Party movement.
Yes, there is.
You know something? Hold on. Wake up. When people go to these town hall meetings.
Can I finish my point about the guy, one of the leaders of the Tea Party movement?
Go ahead.
He's leader of a group called the Tea Party Express, which brings tea parties across the country. He, on his blog, called Obama a racist Indonesian Muslim thug. That's what he calls him on his blog, which I think is rooted in a lot of racism.
Oh, and what about left-leaning stuff with Bush?
Representing the Tea Parties, then I think that you can make a fair conclusion that some of the criticism is based on his race, or the way that he's being criticized is based on his race.
The way he's being criticized, he's being handled with kid gloves. One guy blurted out something stupid, which he shouldn't have done, just because it does disrespect the fact that the president is talking. But Jimmy Carter was not just talking about that one guy. He said that he thinks a lot of the criticism coming at Obama is because he is a black man, and we have trouble with a black man. And I'm telling you, the conversations I have and the criticism I hear, it really is financial. People, when you hear the ridicule that these average citizens get at these town hall meetings by the mainstream media, they're protesting taxes. They're not saying Obama's doing too much for blacks. They're not even. It's about taxes going up and health care.
When you see over 100,000 people on the mall carrying signs and old flags that say "Don't tread on me" and no taxation, stop the tax and spend, there's nothing racist on these signs.
Nothing. On those signs, no, but on some of them there is.
So then explain why the mainstream media ridicules these people protesting higher taxes.
Right. When
Explain what?
Why the mainstream media ridicules these people in a way that they have never ridiculed truly crazy fucking groups. They don't ridicule PETA when they paint themselves in red paint and act like they're fucking animal blood. They don't ridicule Code Pink. They don't ridicule any of these fucking groups.
The Rainbow Coalition.
These average citizens who don't want their taxes going up in town hall meetings and don't want their health care completely taken over in a way that they don't feel is appropriate are being ridiculed by the mainstream media.
I think a lot of times the ridicule is coming from their lack of knowledge. When you look at a lot of the video of the town halls, the questions they ask, the signs they hold up are... And it's unfair for me to just say they.
So why don't you just say it's the media? Why don't you just say...
There's a lot of misinformation, and people are being taken advantage of.
Do you see the arrogance? Dude, listen to your liberal arrogance. The people are being taken. How about those people have valid points? And maybe the left has bias, too. Maybe the media is biased in a way that you accuse Fox, and you're accurate.
You're sitting there saying
you're
right.
What a pompous
we're
liberal,
uneducated.
Dude. What a
you're
arrogant
right.
dope.
Anyone who has the same opinion as you is right. Anyone who doesn't is uneducated or being led by the nose or being brainwashed.
I didn't say that.
No,
you are saying that.
No, you're not saying that verbatim. But your whole fucking point has been that you're right. And your research that you have done has brought you down the road to rightness.
Yeah.
And my research, based on what I have read, has brought me down the road to being a puppet for the right.
He's right, dude. You're coming off as so fucking arrogant.
The arrogance is fucking staggering.
And it's to me that you...
Why are you calling me arrogant? How does that play a role
Because you're saying you're right, I'm wrong, based on opinions we have formulated independently.
I haven't brought up one policy platform for you to even know whether or not
you just said the mainstream
liberal or conservative.
Of course you just said the mainstream media. When I said why are they ridiculing these people, instead of saying, you know what, maybe the mainstream media does have a little bit of bias and they're being protective about the president, you say, well, it's because the people are ill-informed. It's because it's like that the correct intellectually elite media is making an informed decision about the dumb Americans instead of realizing that the media might have a bias the way Fox does.
Look at the facts, Jimmy.
Yes, I am looking at the facts. Can you answer that question? Answer. No, I'm not. No. Answer, dude.
I'm answering your question.
All right. Okay.
I'm giving you evidence.
Okay.
35% of Fox News viewers still believe that Iraq had something to do with 9/11. Why is that?
I don't know.
Because they propagate the stories to make you still
I honestly
ignore that.
I don't know that that's true. That you're because you say it doesn't make it true. I'm not saying you're. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I can't answer that because I think it's a ridiculous thing for anybody to believe.
You know, there's always going to be people that'll believe that. Just like I'd love to know the percentage of people that think the government had something to do with 9/11. How about that one? Do you by the way?
35%.
35%?
No.
I don't think it's that high, no. But there's a percentage of people that do think that.
Sure. They're idiots.
And, well, you know something? Are they idiots? Are they?
Yes.
You know, maybe you just
totally
maybe you haven't read what they read, man. You know, maybe you just don't know the fucking facts. You're one of the gatekeepers. We're a truther, man. You don't understand. Do you understand what I'm doing?
You're attacking me.
You get it.
Exactly. Yeah, you're attacking me for something that I didn't even say.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
He's implying that you have the same arrogant attitude. And, dude, Anthony's right. I listened to the way you defended. Instead of acknowledging that the mainstream media also has a bias, you just refuse to acknowledge that. You refuse to acknowledge that the left also has an agenda.
They do have a liberal bias because they intend to attract. Because they intend to attract viewers, and that's how they get viewers. They don't care.
That's not what you said.
Yeah, I said that.
You said that they mock. Whoa! You said that they mock these protesters because the protesters are stupid, not because the liberal bias is what's permeating the media.
A lot of times the media, especially mainstream media, I'm talking about some of the network news, aside from Fox, of course, are doing their news and leaning left because a lot of the people in charge are left-leaning personally. So they're taking their personal thoughts and ideologies and putting that spin into the news. Now, whether it's happening on Fox also, sure. Fox is very right-leaning, and the people that are in charge, Rupert Murdoch and whatnot, they are putting a right-wing spin on it. But like I said, when you look at the information and you're educated, you form your own opinion. Yours is different than mine. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. For my interests, it's wrong. It's costing me a lot of money, and it doesn't jibe with what I think about things like the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, taxation. For you, it doesn't jibe with other things with Fox News that puts on that it's a right-wing organization that is trying to bring down the president. But you know something? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're a lefty. Just like I am, I lean right, you lean left. We don't agree with each other, but I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. But you're telling me I'm wrong.
What I was suggesting from the beginning was that not that your opinions were wrong. I never once said that I disagreed with any of your opinions. I disagreed with the way in which you presented the headlines of the day, that we never get information about Blackwater and cool stories like that, how they send covert ops and how we're paying mercenaries over there.
Yeah.
Corruption
we were. Blackwater hasn't been over there in Blackwater hasn't been over there in probably over a year, dude. They were thrown the fuck out. They were thrown the fuck out. I understand. They were thrown the fuck out of Iraq. Boy, you got to really fuck up to get thrown out of Iraq.
And doesn't it strike you another thing too? Do you remember the cartoon about Obama in the New York Post that was about after the chimp attack in Connecticut?
Yes.
So you remember that, right?
Yeah.
Again, another thing. Doesn't that strike you as odd that inappropriate cartoon was covered 24 hours by the mainstream media, and Van Jones, his comments were not being aired, and this is a guy who is an aide to the president, who is truly in a position of power in this country. Doesn't it strike you as odd the way one thing is harped on and one thing is not? Can't you understand that?
Yes.
Then why are you saying that Anthony or anybody on the show gets their ideas from Fox when I also see what the mainstream media reports and doesn't report, and I see why do you... come to that conclusion instead of realizing that maybe we see the same things you do and just talk
because
about.
I listen to your show every day,
Thank
and
you.
I know the things that you guys talk about. And I look at Drudge Report, I look at Fox News, I watch Fox News, and it's the same exact headlines in almost like the same exact order.
Do you know, dude? I honestly, God, never watch Fox. I really don't. I mean, I read Drudge
You're not
because.
deciding on the agenda of the show all the time, Jimmy. I mean, the
No,
fact is that
dude, I'm telling you.
Anthony brings up
You know what? They're
stories.
called
New York
top.
Post.
They're called top stories, and we'll do the most important top stories first. So if you see them in order on Drudge, perhaps.
Top stories everywhere.
No,
Hold on, we talked.
Anthony is holding us all hostage with his agenda.
Yes, that's what I
For
do.
real, man. It's unbelievable.
Hey, dude, do we talk?
Opie, I thought I had you there. I thought like I had.
I got to be honest with you, Adam. I can't be bothered with this stuff whatsoever. I know that's so lame to say, but I can't be bothered because these arguments will go on for forever and nothing will ever be accomplished. Anthony believes in what he believes, and that's fine. And you believe in what you believe in, and that's fine.
No, it's
but to try to
stupid.
get each side to like come to the middle, it's just never going to happen.
Hey, dude,
I just can't argue this shit anymore.
Let's take
I'm going to leave you guys alone. But the last thing I'll say is that look, you guys are
Help me.
You're
Anthony is holding me hostage.
You got what you want. All I'm saying
He's
is
turning
that
me
like,
into a conservative.
you know
Conservative, help me.
how important is it to you to be taxed more compared to how important it is for someone that doesn't have health care to get health care? That's
for-
like 60
all right, look,
years old that
for
has a pre-existing condition.
for my personal life, I believe I don't want to be taxed for a 15% of this country that does not have health care, and the 85% that does, and the 75% that does, and is happy with it. I don't think it's that pressing of a fucking issue, to tell you the truth.
And fucking Anthony turned me around on that whole goddamn thing. Like I was all about Obama change, yeah. And then I realized, wait a minute, more money coming out of our fucking
More money.
pockets. Find the money somewhere else and leave us the fuck alone.
$900 billion.
Leave us the fuck alone, and I would be rah. Yes, health care for everybody, but enough with taking the money out of our pockets.
I'm pretty fiscally conservative myself.
Yeah.
I am. But I believe that we should, if we're spending $900 billion, I'd rather spend it on health care for this country than out
All
of
right.
our
Well, that's your preference.
All right,
That-
but
yeah,
as long as that doesn't mean more tax money coming from us.
But it's
Find it somewhere else.
There's never an argument from the right side about how
You don't
how
think-
much money the Iraq war. Like
I fucking do that.
Oh my God, we've
That
talked
we
about
fucking
that.
talked about
talked
what a
about that.
disgrace that is.
Selective listening. Selective listening. How many times?
I'm talking about you guys.
I know, but how many? All right.
I'm talking about Fox
Wait, you're not talking about us, but
Yeah.
you said that we get everything from Fox and
Yeah,
Drudge.
exactly.
And
Let
Ed
me-
said that we have discussed that.
Let me talk about another thing that I've said. I think if we're going to have a universal health care, it shouldn't be taken from taxpayers. I think there's enough fucking improprieties going on in the healthcare system that can be revamped without socialized medicine. I think affordable private insurance can be made if you cut the waste and bullshit that's going on in the medical field. That's what I've always said. I'm not saying I'm against people having fucking medical care. I'm saying I'm against it coming out of the taxpayers' dollars, especially the upper echelon, which, by the way, is just the middle class in this country. Let's not bullshit ourselves and say that the money that is coming out of taxes is going to be just the upper echelon of this country. And that $900 billion, I know, oh boy, this is a Fox News exclusive.
Alert.
It's not going to be $900 million. Any government program estimate has never, ever stayed within the boundaries that were set before the bill was even passed. So,
But Anthony,
yes,
if your
yes.
show was around when Social Security was being debated, when
It
Medicare
was.
being debated, when welfare was being debated, when
Yeah.
Medicaid was being debated, you would be against all of those things. At all of
Maybe
those
I
points.
would.
But the fact
Right,
is
you're right.
that all of them have been instated, and you're still a rich motherfucker.
No,
And this is going to happen. and
I'm not
in
as rich as
20
I
years,
was.
If health
because
care reform happens right now, in 20 years, you're still going to be sitting in a jacuzzi 3 times as big.
Maybe
That's a
not.
fact.
Maybe,
You're going to have a happy,
maybe.
beautiful, rich life. And there's people out there that
maybe
can't
not.
afford to pay. for
It's
heart
not
surgery.
my fucking job to make them better. This is
that, I think, is your
America.
best-
This is a
Look,
capitalist country. It is a democratic republic. This fucking place is not a place where you come and you're guaranteed fucking health care or wealth. Leave me alone. I've made something of myself, whether by hook or by crook or by luck. I've made something of myself, and I'm not going to fucking dole it out for people that assume they have a right to fucking health care. You don't have a right to it. You have a right to pursue happiness in this country, not a guarantee of happiness. So get out of my pocket.
The Constitution says that Congress should be providing for the general welfare of the public.
And we have a welfare program. And we have a welfare program.
The general welfare does not specifically refer to the welfare program that we have now. It could also refer to people's health.
So
you can make that interpretation.
You're interpreting the Constitution into what? You're interpreting it into Karl Marx's manifesto. You fuck.
You can't interpret welfare into someone's health.
What? Why don't we leave it right there? Because that was a great little line.
You
want
to agree to disagree?
Yeah, let's agree to disagree.
All right, let's agree to disagree.
I think we got somewhere today.
You're wrong and Ant's right.
Oh!
Thank you, Adam from Jersey. I
right,
hope.
soon.
By the way, I hope Corazine gets reelected and taxes the fucking ass out of you again. Thank you.
All right.
Yuck.
Is that exhausting?
It is so exhausting.
Why do you like doing that?
I don't know. It's just I like it.
I hate doing that.
It's kind of fun.
I don't like arguing with anybody that's not going to listen.
It's fun.
I don't care if they listen. It's a great. It's like
it's
an exercise in
in
not in challenging somebody, but in basically in your beliefs and their beliefs. It's a way in a way because Adam. Look, I don't agree with Adam, but he's not a dumb guy.
He wasn't. At least he wasn't. You know what he did? He talked over. He tried to talk over you a lot, but those conversations get pretty impassioned and stuff. But he at least he had some points. And, we didn't agree with him, but he was making them, and it wasn't like just some guy going, duh, you're an asshole.
But it just feels like those arguments never get anywhere.
They don't.
Because no one
right.
listens. They
You're
just
right.
want to get their points out and show their knowledge, and
You're
it's
right.
like, I don't know.
But it's almost like it's like if you go into that knowing it, like
healthy debate.
It is. It's not about changing.
There's no debate there.
Oh yeah, there was.
You know what else?
Yes.
Because nothing
Yes,
gets a
there was.
con-
You know what gets a compliment?
It's two one-sided conversations going on at the same time.
Let me explain something, though. There are people, now that, if that was in a bar and me and him were just talking, we're never going to change each other's opinion.
That would have ended with a fight.
With a fight, yeah, and gunfight.
With fucking Patrick Swayze having to break it up.
Fucking Dalton.
No shit,
Hell yeah,
Dalton would have to get involved.
But be nice. Right. Lead him out, but be nice.
But be nice.
That would have been me and him talking and not really changing each other's opinion. But in this forum, it's interesting because I never think of it this way, but it is the media. So us talking like that, if someone's on the fence about something and I'm giving somebody that's listening a little information, he's giving them a little information, I think it's making people that are listening kind of go, I was on the fence about that and I didn't know that, so... So maybe you're not changing each other's minds, but you're kind of enlightening the listeners.
I got to be honest.
In a way,
I forgot that people were listening to this stuff.
So do I. A lot
no,
of times.
for real. I was just
too.
sitting and going, "Wow, I'm listening to Anthony have a conversation with a young gentleman." I do forget sometimes.
Sometimes people are listening to this dribble.
But that's a good point.
True. It's like some
you
people
do get some knowledge and go, "Oh, yeah, I
you
didn't
throw
know
it
about
out
that."
there. You can inform the listener. You can make the listener think you're an asshole, think you're a genius, whatever. But yeah, that's what it is. It's just two people having a healthy American debate about me being right and him being horribly wrong.
But it also, in a way, it's like sometimes we think like, all right, I have these thoughts in my head, am I paranoid, am I nuts? And then you hear somebody else doing something, and you're like, no, I know that's what people do. And it's like it confirms to you to yourself, like, you know what, I'm not fucking crazy. I actually, my thinking was correct on that. Like, you know,
I just didn't like the.
I think it's healthy to do.
I just didn't like that that attitude, that liberal attitude of you don't agree with me, so you're wrong.
Yeah.
When meanwhile, I like getting into those conversations, and I'll give it to anybody who has a valid point and is educated on something, has done a little research, and has come to a different conclusion than I have based on whatever. But to then be told that you're wrong, or I only read 2 websites, or I'm a puppet for this or that, knowing that I read a lot of shit. And I've based my opinions on a lot of information. And just because he doesn't agree with them doesn't make me fucking wrong.
Right.
Come on. But again, that elitist, liberal, and I'm sorry, people on the left, it is an elitist, liberal thing. It's something that is indicative of being a liberal?
Because the conservatives have not changed that much over the last X amount of years. You kind of know where they stand on most things. And a lot of times they're shitty and they're wrong. But to me, the left has become a lot of what they hated, which is these thought policing. And people think you hate liberals. I really don't. I mean, I probably classify as a liberal much more in my social ideology than I do a conservative.
Yep.
I'm much more for most liberal causes than I am for most conservative religious causes. I'm only talking about the attitude.
Love abortions. I fucking love them.
I want to have abortion tattooed on my balls. But you don't understand. I'm for gay marriage. I'm for gay. A lot of this stuff that's fucking. No, I don't mean. Stop it.
Me too.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's the arrogance that comes with it. It's the fucking. May I say pomposity?
Oh, you may.
Let's leave it here.